So on the test, on the GD test, what they're going to say is they're going to say, factor this trinomial. That's the way that they're going to talk about that. So if they say factor the trinomial, what they're referring to is trinomial, three terms. And when they say factor, this means quadratic equation. So if I hear factor the trinomial, I immediately equate that with the quadratic equation. So first off, there is the quadratic equation without any of the numbers. It's just the equation itself. So first off, remember from the previous lesson, you have to compute what the A is going to be, what the B is going to be, and what the C is. And where do you get those? You get them from the trinomial itself. The A term is what's in front of the R squared. The B term is what's in front of the R. The C term is from the number that's left at the end, negative 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite and replace this, the quadratic equation, with all the new numbers instead of the letters. And that is what's written right here. Do you notice that the B's are all sevens? Do you notice that the A's are now twos? Do you notice that the C is now negative 15? So that's what's happening here. You're rewriting. Okay, first things first. When you're working with something that has to be a square root, you're going to treat this thing like a parenthesis, where everything underneath it has to be computed before I can do anything else outside of it. Okay? So what you're going to see next is that happening. Let's show. Okay? Notice in the next line, look what happened. The C squared, because I'm following the order of operation, exponents are first. This became a 49. Do you see that? That's the only change that was made. Look at the next change in here. What was changed? Well, the 4 times 2 became an 8. Can you guess what's going to be next? Let's skip this one. I think it's written here the same. So next, I want to take the 8 and I want to multiply times the negative 15. Let's skip this one. So that's just the same thing. Go over here. Is a negative 120. So now I'm left with 49 minus a negative 120. That's the next piece of math. Let's flip the page. See how that this becomes this. Keep going. So now I'm going to talk about, well, now I'm left with one number underneath my radical. So what is the square root of 169? You would say, oh, well, that's 13. And I'd say, yes, it is. So now look at what your math problem is. After all of that, I'm left with this. X equals the opposite of 7 plus or minus 13 all divided by 4. Okay, cool. Sorry. So what happens here is kind of new for a lot of students. Because this says plus or minus in this numerator position, what it means is that you're going to have one situation where you're adding negative 7 plus 13. In another situation, you're going to have a negative 7 where you're subtracting 13. That's why this thing splits. So you're going to say, so does that mean there are 2 answers? Yes, there are 2 responses. Remember we talked about why this is used, because it's going to talk about a launch, a vertex, and an end. So you need 2 spots. You need a start and an end. Two answers, the start and the end. So in one math problem, I write -7 plus 13 divided by 4. -7 plus 13 is 6. 6 divided by 4 is 1.5. So one of my solution set, you hear what I said there? My solution set, one answer is 1.5. In the other side, I'll change colors. I'm going to do -7 minus 13. Well, that is a -20. And -20 divided by 4 is 5. So my solution set consists of two answers. Notice it says the word set, two of them. One of them is 1.5, and the other is -5.